Hi, I figured I would go ahead and make this recording explaining to you the requirements for getting the CPA license, and that way you can have the recording available to you if you need to look back later. So I'm going to go ahead and put my screen in full screen mode. Okay, and you can see that the requirements that I'm going to be talking about are those for California. Okay, so other states would have different requirements. And the way to look at this sheet is that it is really broken into two sort of broad categories. I know you see more than that, but the first part up here, this blue, are the requirements to sit for the CPA exam. Okay, it's a four-part exam. Okay, these are the sitting requirements for CPA. By sitting, I mean your ability to take the exam. And as you can see, you have to have completed 24 units of accounting subjects, 24 units of business subjects. Classes like the one that you've had, Introduction to Accounting, the basics would count as an accounting subject. Okay. Um, Also, classes that have any of these words. Let's say you decided to take a tax class. You don't have to have a tax class, but let's say you decided to. That would count. Classes that have the word financial statement analysis in them. Classes that come from a school that are come from the accounting department. So it's accounting one, accounting two, etc. You can take classes from community college to meet these requirements. You could take advanced placement classes in high school that would count towards meeting these requirements. Okay. Now, you also, in order to be eligible to sit for the CPA exam, and I'll talk about how the CPA exam is structured here in a couple minutes, you would also need to take 24 business related classes. Again, classes having words like economics, statistics, finance, could come from a university, can come from a community college, could come as advanced placement classes in high school, from a high school. But they have to have these words in them in order to qualify to meet these requirements. Computer science, mathematics, a very broad set of classes. If you were to get more than 24 accounting units, you would not obviously need them anymore up here. So you could let them come down, those extra accounting units, and count as business subjects down in the business required area. Now, along with those 24 semester units, you must complete your bachelor's degree, okay, from an accredited university. All this has to come from accredited schools, of course. You'd have to finish your bachelor's degree, and that bachelor's degree would have to carry with it 120 semester units. Now you're looking and saying, well, how come then I see 150 here? Well, what happens is you use the bachelor's degree. Most bachelor's degrees carry with them at least 120 units. And then of those 120, of course, 24 would have to be accounting, 24 would have to be business related. Okay, so we've seen that. And then when you go, and this is the second major section to this thing where we have these two different colors, this green and this red down here, these are the requirements for licensure. So once you have ultimately taken the CPA exam and passed it, you still need to complete some requirements to get licensure. So if you look here, you can see that there's 20 units of accounting, 10 units of ethics studies. So if you add those additional 30 units to the 120, okay, obviously we come up with 150 semester units that are ultimately needed for licensure. Now, when we look at the units of accounting study, and these are in addition to the units that you have already accomplished in order to sit for the exam, and this could happen before, after, or during preparing to sit for the exam, okay? These additional units are for licensure. You would need 6 more accounting. and then 14 business. So if you look at the big picture here, okay, what you really need are what 30 units of accounting, the 24 plus the 6, and what 38 units of business, the 24 plus the 14, in order to be able to get the license ultimately. Okay. Now, some folks look at that and say, wow, that's a lot of accounting. I mean, I've got to get 24 accounting up here just to sit for the exam, and then I've got to go and get an additional 6 units on top of that to be eligible to get the license. And what they have done is said, well, look, if you complete a master's in accounting or tax, we'll have checked off that you have met this requirement. So sometimes what happens is in their undergraduate, students may study something else, say computer science. And so they'd be in good shape to have gotten this done. And then they can use their study in their master's degree where they focus in on accounting to get them, and most master's degree would, get you up to 24 units of accounting. So you would have met that in order to sit for the exam. And then they say, okay, no more accounting because we are now going to accept your master's as having met these additional accounting units. Now, some students maybe will start studying, and I'm just going to pick a subject, say they start studying music in their undergraduate. And then they realize, hey, I really should probably take something a little more um, in line with business or something. Sort of, I studied broadcasting, and then I said, well, I'm going to take some business classes, and then I found accounting. And so some folks may have classes that they've taken, but now they're shifting before they get their bachelor's from accounting to another subject. Well, for those folks, they do allow 9 semester units from any of the subject areas listed below, with no more than 3 in any one of these categories. So they're saying, hey, you've taken some other classes, we're going to give you some credit of that for those classes towards your license. So if you take a look, if you took a class, say, in journalism, okay, I took some classes in journalism as part of my communications degree. Communications, English classes, I think almost everybody's had an English class, right? That's gone to college. And so you could get 3 units there. Foreign languages, okay? Now maybe somebody took a Spanish class or something, or classes with culture or ethnic in the title would count. And then industry-based courses, let's say you took a real estate course or something. Again, you can only get 3 units here that would count towards your requirements for your license now for accounting, that you could use those classes. Maximum 4 semester units with an internship. Maybe you're taking an internship in college, and it's related to accounting and whatnot. You're working for, say, a CPA firm or something. That would help count towards that. So that would be probably more in line with somebody who hasn't focused on accounting initially when entering, say, community college or something, and then later shifts to accounting. Those 9 units would be helpful for those folks. Now, coming down to complete the licensure requirements, okay, you have to have 10 units related to ethic studies, and you can get up to 7 units with classes that have these words in them. Okay, you took a law class, business law, for example. You could use classes like that to meet these 10 ethics, but you're capped at 7 because everybody has to have a class in accountants' professional responsibilities that talk specifically about legal requirements for CPAs. And so you can get the remaining 3 units that you would need to bring you up to 10. You have to have that class to round out the 10. You can get up to 7 with classes containing these words, and then you can get up to 3 units for classes related to if they have the area, if it comes from philosophy, if it's an introduction to philosophy, for example, you could use up to 3 units to meet those 10 ethics requirements. Okay, so that's the requirements to get the license. Okay, in order to sit for the CPA exam, bachelor's degree. So many students will go to, say, a state university and get 120 units for their bachelor's degree. For example, maybe they get a degree in which they get a business degree and there's concentration in accounting. Okay, it could be concentration in other areas, but for these requirements, concentration in accounting would be the most expedient way to do this. Bachelor's degree will have 120 units. We'll have 24 accounting. We'll have 24 units of business. You are ready to sit for the CPA exam. You can sit for the CPA exam at that point in time, pass it. It's a 4-part exam. There is a section dealing with auditing, a section dealing with regulation, which includes tax and business law, and there's a section dealing with financial accounting and reporting. Then candidates are to choose one discipline section. Tax compliance and planning is one of the sections. Another section is related to business accounting and reporting. And then there is another section that the student can choose, one of these 3. The third section that the student could choose is called information system and controls. So you have to take 4 parts. 3 are core parts: financial accounting and reporting, the auditing, and the regulation class. Those are required cores, and then the student gets to choose a discipline from one of those 3 that I just mentioned: the tax compliance and planning, the information system and control, and the business accounting and reporting. You choose from those 3. So that's the path to licensure. For you might be somewhere way off in the future before you're worrying about these specific requirements. But this will help you, and you can look back on this in the future. And of course, you can reach out anytime with questions about how this would work. Okay, hopefully this is helpful.